Where are we? What the hell is going on? The dust has only just begun to fall. Crop circles in the carpet, sinking feeling. Spin me round again, unroll my eyes. This can't be happening. We're busy streets, a mess with people with stuff to hold. Their heads heavy. Hide and seek. Trains and sewing machines. All those days, they were here first. Oily marks appear on the walls where pleasure moments hung before they take over. The sweeping insensitivity of this still life. Hide and seek. Trains and sewing machine. You won't catch me around here. Blood and tears. They were here first. What you said, oh, that you only meant well, when love cost you dear. What you said, that is all for the best, of course it is. What you said, that is just what we need, and you decided this. What you said, what did you say? Ransom notes keep falling out your mouth. Mid-sweet dark newspaper were called out. Speak no feeling now. I don't believe it. You don't care a bit. You don't care a bit. Ransom notes keep falling out your mouth. Mid-sweet dark newspaper were called out. Speak no feeling now. I don't believe you. You don't care a bit. You don't care. You don't care a bit. 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 Hi, my name is Aile. Thank you for watching my cover of Hide and Seek by Imogen Heap. If you want to know how I used Ovox by Waves to create this performance, then please keep watching. So to set up my session, I first insert Ovox into an audio track that is set to receive the input from my microphone.
On the top bar of the plugin, I make sure voice is set to track, synth is set to internal, and note source is set to auto. On a MIDI track, I have a clip with the chords for the song, and I set the output to the vocal track. Since this song is sung a cappella, I also have an audio track with cues such as a counting, a click, and some pitch cues, especially for the first note of the song. This audio track contains the back vocals, and finally, all these other MIDI clips are simply automating off all the channels and effects from my set that are not necessary for this song. Since Ovox is a third-party plugin, I need to be very mindful of my CPU to be able to perform. Before I open up Ovox to show you my presets, I just want to let you know that my Ableton session for this performance is available for download on my Patreon, as well as all the assets to recreate this performance, including the MIDI clip with the chords for the song, the cue track, my custom Ovox preset, and a step-by-step tutorial of how to perform this song. If that's something that interests you, I will leave the link to my Patreon in the description box. Now, when you open up Ovox, the plugin might look like this for you. Click on the extended view icon to have access to all the advanced settings. The first thing we want to do is set the pitch correction to off, as we want the performance to have that organic and authentic delivery like in the original song. Then, turn the voice dial all the way up and the Ovox dial about 3/4 of the way up. We want the clean vocal to be the main feature, with the vocoder effect acting as the support. Now let's take a look at the first oscillator. On the axis control, I set the waveform a bit off-center and closer to the square wave to get a smooth, softer synth sound. I opened up the harmonics dial about 3/4 of the way and I used the classic filter. Then I added a little bit of noise, about -33. I set the voices to 3 and detune to 15. Since I wanted my synth to be really wide, I set the spread to 90. For a video performance, this should be okay, but if I were to perform this at a venue, I would probably adjust this to a lower value, just to make sure it's mono-compatible. I left the formant filter alone because I don't want it to affect the quality of my voice, but I did adjust the focus and cue. Focus control sets the frequency range where the formant detector picks up the most detail, so you will have to use your ear and adjust it according to your own voice. I set it at about 1450 Hz, and the cue to about 0.790. Then I set my speed to 3.5. I set the voice dynamics to 125. This parameter controls how much the volume of your voice will control the volume of the synth, which will help us convey emotion in a song like this. Now I'll quickly go over the settings for the second oscillator. On the axis control, I set it off-center between the square and triangle waves, but slightly closer to the triangle. I still want a smooth sound, but I want it to have a little bit more bite to differentiate it from the first sound. I opened up the harmonics dial about 3/4 of the way and I used the talkbox filter. I tried different filters, but I feel this one works really well to keep the lyrics intelligible. I added a bit of noise, about -40. I tuned the synth about an octave up and I set the voices to 2, detune to 25 and spread to 50. Next, I set the focus somewhere around 2 kHz and the cue about 0.680. The speed is set to 3.5 and the voice dynamics to 125 again. I set the tone to slightly bright and I used my ears to adjust the sibilance control. You might have to adjust this setting according to your own voice. I used the EQ to bring a bit more color into the sound. First, I set a high-pass filter at about 100 Hz with a cue of 1 to get rid of unnecessary low frequencies. Then I boosted 300 Hz slightly because this is where the fundamental frequency of my voice usually lives. You might have to adjust this according to your voice. Finally, I made a small cut at 800 Hz with a tight cue to boost the neighboring frequencies without adding extra gain. I am not using any of the effects that come with Ovox, as every time you add an effect, it uses more CPU power. I want to keep the CPU as low as possible to perform live, so instead I am using the native Ableton reverb and delay effects. I hope you enjoyed this video. My Ableton session and the assets to recreate this performance, including the Ovox preset I created in this video, are all available for download on my Patreon. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.